The Let L-410 Turbolet is a twin-engine short-range transport aircraft, manufactured by the Czech aircraft manufacturer LET, mostly used for passenger transport. Since 1969, more than 1,100 airframes have been produced. Development of the L-410 was started in the 1960s by the Czechoslovak aircraft manufacturer Let L-410. The Soviet airline Aeroflot was looking for a turbine-powered replacement for the Antonov An-2 aircraft, initiating the design development by Let. After preliminary studies of an aircraft called the L-400, a new version was introduced called the L-410 Turbolet. The first prototype, designated XL-410, flew on April 16, 1969. Because of delays in the development of a suitable Czech engine, the prototype and first production version were powered by Pratt & Whitney Canada .6A27 engines. After M601 development was completed, the PT6 engine was replaced by M601 engines coupled with Avia V5083 blade propellers, and the next variant was introduced, the L-410M. A further version for Aeroflot was the L-410 UVP. This has improved performance in takeoff and landing due to increased wing and tail area, STOL. However, due to an increased empty weight and a shift in the center of gravity, the aircraft had a decreased seating capacity, 15 passengers. The L-410 UVPE has increased maximum takeoff weight to 6,400 kilograms, M601E engines with increased power, new 5-blade propellers designated V510, and the provision for wingtip tanks to increase fuel quantity. First flight was made in 1984, and production started in 1986. The L-410 UVPE9 and UVPE20 are versions which vary from each other only by minor changes arising from various certification regulations. The last L-410 family member is the L-420, which uses the new Walter engine variant, the M601F. Currently produced L-410 UVPE20s are powered by next derivative of M601 engine designated as GEH80-200 and new Avia Propeller Avenue 725 5-blade propellers. The L-410 UVPE is an unpressurized all-metal high-wing commuter aircraft, with Avia V510 5-blade propellers. It is equipped with a retractable undercarriage. The aircraft uses two hydraulic circuits, main and emergency. The main electrical system operates with 28 VDC. The de-icing system is leading-edge pneumatic desers and electrical heating of propellers, cockpit windshields and pitot static system heads. Maximum takeoff weight of the L-410 UVPE is 6,400 kilograms, with the possibility of an increase to 6,600 kilograms for the E9 and E20 variants, seating capacity 17 to 19. Cruise speed is 170 kIAS, maximum range about 770 nautical miles. The airplane is certified for IFR operation, CAT-IILS approach, and flights in icing conditions. Of the more than 1,100 units built, roughly 500 remain in service. The majority were delivered to the former Soviet Union, but have been resold, particularly to airlines in Asia, Africa and South America. 40 aircraft are in use throughout Europe for commercial operation or skydiving. There are also an unknown number in Russia and ex-Soviet states. The aircraft can be used with short or even unpaved runways. On September 3, 2013, the Russian company UGMK became the wholesale owner of LET Karnavis Aircraft Industries. They announced that they would move production of the L-410 to Russia within the year. On July 7, 2015, UGMK represented first L-410NG aircraft manufactured in Russia. Variants: L-410, prototype, 3 units built. L-410A, first series with Pratt & Whitney .6A27 turboprop engines. L-410AB, version with 4-bladed propellers. L-410AF, aerial photo version supplied to Hungary. L-410AG, with modified equipment. Never built. L-410AS, test aircraft, supplied to the USSR. 5 airplanes built, L-410M, Second series with Walter M601A engines. L-410AM, version with improved M601BS, also known as L-410MA or L-410 microns. L-410 UVP, third series, fundamentally modified. Main changes are a trunk, an extended wingspan by 0.80 m, M601BS, a higher horizontal stabilizer. The UVP variants possesses STOL characteristics. L-410 UVPS, salon variant of the UVP with upward hinged entrance hatch. L-410 UVP-E, re-equipped with M601 is, 5-bladed propellers, additional fuel tanks at the wing ends. The L-410 UVP-E20 variant is type certified on the basis of FAR 23 regulation and have received the type certificates in the Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Indonesia, the Philippines, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, Russian Federation, Cuba and Chile. After establishing the new European Aviation Safety Agency, the aircraft also received full EASA type certificate valid for all EU countries. The aircraft has also been approved for operation in a number of other countries, such as Algeria, Republic of South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Tunisia, Colombia, Venezuela, South Korea, India, plus others. L-410FG, photogrammetry version based on L-410 UVP, L-410T, transport variant of the UVP with larger loading hatch, can transport 6 stretchers as a medical airplane plus a medic, or 12 parachutists. It can also carry 1,000 kilograms of cargo containers. L-420, upgraded L-410 UVP-E, new M601FS. The Let L-420 is the US FAA certified variant of the L-410 UVP-E20 model, has been certified on the basis of FAR 23 regulation and have received the type certificates in the Czech Republic, USA, Australia and Indonesia and also full EASA type certificate. L-410NG, it will be the new version of the L-410, featuring new GEH-85 engines, a longer nose and a larger rear area to contain more luggage. New wings and a new glass cockpit. The fuselage will be the same of the classic L-410 but it will be made of newer materials. Following the rollout of the prototype, it made its maiden flight on July 29, 2015. Type certification is expected in 2016 with production planned to start in 2017. Operators. Civilian as of August 2006, 313 L-410 aircraft remained in airline service. Major operators included, Air Tech Africa, Riven Universal Avia, Atlantic Airlines de Honduras, SEARCA, Oranbirzi, Heli Air Services, Southeast Asian Airlines, NHT Linas or Copyright Res, Crosavia, Kinavia, Comiaviatrans, Aerolíneas Sosa, Citywing, CM Airlines, Green Air Limited Nepal, Tortuga, Mombasa Air Safari, ABC Air Hungary, Khabarovsk Airlines, Kazan Air Enterprise, Team Linas or Copyright Res, PANH, Transports or Copyright Rios Guatemaltecos, Bima and UTAIR. Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky Air Enterprise. Around 111 other airlines operate smaller numbers of the type. Current civilian operators Bosnia and Herzegovina, ICA Air, Brazil, NHT Linas or Copyright Res, Sol Linas or Copyright Res, Bulgaria, Heli Air Services, Colombia, Zarka, Comoros, Intera registered trademark Lay Air, Costa Rica, Nature Air, Czech Republic, Silver Air, Ban Air Europe, Haiti, Tortuga, Honduras, Aerolíneas Sosa, CM Airlines, Hungary, ABC Air Hungary, Budapest Aircraft Service, India, Zav Airways, Kenya, Mombasa Air Safari, Nepal, Goma Air, Philippines, Sky Posada, Russia, Arcam, Kazan Air Enterprise, Khabarovsk Airlines, Comiaviatrans, Crosavia, Oranbirzi, Tanzania, Zan Air, Airxl, Ukraine, Riven Universal Avia, United Kingdom, Citywing. Former civilian operators Brazil, Nor Linas or Copyright Res, Team Linas or Copyright Res, Czech Republic, Government of the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, ABA Air, Government of Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, Croatia, Trade Air, Honduras, Atlantic Airlines de Honduras, Hungary, AVA Express, FAMO Hungary, Slovenia, Government of Slovenia, Slovakia, Government of Slovakia, India, Arcana Airways, Soviet Union, Aeroflot, France, Air Guyane Express, Venezuela, private companies in the aviation industries. Current military operators Bangladesh. Bangladesh Air Force currently operates 3 L-410 UVPE-20, Bulgaria, Bulgarian Air Force, Czech Republic, Czech Air Force, Cape Verde, Military of Cape Verde, Djibouti, Djibouti Air Force, Honduras, Honduras Air Force, Lithuania, Lithuanian Air Force, Russia, Russian Air Force, Slovakia, Slovak Air Force, Slovenia, Slovenian Air Force and Air Defense, Tunisia, Tunisian Air Force. Former military operators Colombia, Colombian Air Force, Satna, Comoros, Military of Comoros, Czechoslovakia, Czechoslovak Air Force, Estonia, Estonian Border Guard Aviation Corps, East Germany, East German Air Force, Germany, Luftwaffe, Hungary, Hungarian Air Force, Indonesia, Latvia, Latvian Air Force, Libya, Libyan Air Force, Peru, Peruvian Army, Soviet Union, Soviet Air Force. Notable accidents: on August 6, 1977, an L-410 crashed into the Lake Balaton, killing one man on board. On June 7, 1995, an L-410 belonging to Latvian military participated in an air show in Lielvārde military base in Latvia, during which the pilots tried to perform an barrel roll. The maneuver would likely be successful, but the initial altitude was too low and the aircraft crashed some 150 meters from spectators, killing both men on board. On December 7, 1999, Asian Spirit Flight 100, using an L-410 crashed onto a mountainside between the municipalities of Cebu, Nueva Vizcaya and Cabaragais, Quirino, both in the Philippines. All 15 passengers and both crew members on board lost their lives. On January 15, 2000, an L-410 with 15 people on board, crashed after takeoff off from Tobias Bola ±Oza Airport in San Jose Copyright, Costa Rica, killing 5 people. On September 10, 2001, an L-410 carrying 19 people, including University of Washington Husky football fans, alumni and alumni association members, crashed into the jungle in the Mexican state of Yucatan, killing all people on board. On September 18, an L-410 carrying 13 crashed during takeoff off from La Aurora Intel, Guatemala City. On March 2, 2003, an L-410 carrying a load of sports skydivers crashed at the drops in Borky, Russia. The aircraft stalled at high altitude and many of the skydivers survived thanks to their parachutes. On May 23, 2004, 2 Bluebird Aviation Let L-410 planes hit each other in flight near Minji, Kenya. One of the planes crashed into the ground, killing both crew members on board, while the other landed safely. On January 27, 2005, a FAMO Hungary Let L-410 aircraft was carrying out a non-directional beacon let-down with radar assistance at a unregistered trademark airport, Romania, but when the crew notified air traffic control of their position over the airport beacon and their intention to turn right outbound, they were seen to turn left. Then the aircraft spiraled down to crash on the airfield. Both crew members on board were killed. On March 26, 2005, a West Caribbean Airways Let L-410 Turbolet aircraft, registration HK4146, on departure from Alumbrujo Airport, Isla de Providencia in the Caribbean, failed to climb and hit hills close to runway 01, killing the 2 crew and 6 of the 12 passengers on board. On June 2, 2005, an L-410 of Transports or Copyright Rios Guatemaltecos, registration TGTAG, carrying 17 passengers on board crashed near Zacapa shortly after takeoff. The crew tried to return to the airfield after reporting technical problems. All crew and passengers survived the accident. On October 30, 2005, a Let L-410 UVPE-19A Turbolet of Trade Air, registration 9ABTA, crashed few minutes after takeoff from Bergamo Arroyo al Sirio Airport on its way to Zagreb. All three on board were killed. Weather was poor with a limited visibility due to fog. On March 31, 2006, an L-410 UVPE-20, operated by Team Linus or Copyright Rees, had a fatal accident. Team Flight 6865 departed Macau Copyright at 17:19 on a scheduled flight to Rio de Janeiro Santos Dumont. The airplane PTFSE was expected to arrive at 18:02. Contact was lost and the flight appeared to have crashed between the cities of Saquarema and Rio Bonito. All 19 people on board died. On September 24, 2007, an L-410 operated by Free Airlines and owned by Caribou Airways crashed on landing at Malamba Nkulu Airport, killing 1 and injuring 5. On October 8, 2007, an L-410 UVPE-10A carrying 15 soldiers and 3 crew members crashed in Cerro Bravo, Colombia. On January 4, 2008, an L-410 UVPE, registration number YV2081, operated by Transavia carrying 12 passengers and 2 crew crashed near Islas Los Roques, Venezuela, killing all on board. The aircraft itself was discovered and recovered 5 years after the accident. On August 25, 2010, an L-410 crashed with 20 fatalities in Bandundu, Democratic Republic of the Congo. According to the sole survivor, the crash was caused by a stampede of passengers after a crocodile escaped from a bag in the cabin. The crocodile itself survived the crash, but was killed by rescuers. On February 14, 2011, an L-410 operated by Central American Airways carrying 12 passengers and 2 crew members, crashed before landing at Toncontín International Airport. All passengers and crew were killed. On the same day, an L-410 operated by African Air Services commuter, flying on behalf of the World Food Programme on a cargo flight from Kavumu Airport, Democratic Republic of the Congo to Luzhnjikava in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, crashed into Montbinga shortly after departure. Both crew members were killed. On July 13, 2011, a Linus or Copyright Rees Let L-410 registration PRNOB operating Flight 4896 from Recife to Natal and Mosora Cubed crashed shortly after takeoff from Recife. All 16 occupants were killed. On June 10, 2012, an L-410 crash-landed at the Borodyanka airstrip, located 50 kilometers northwest of Kiev, Ukraine. 5 people were killed and 13 injured when the aircraft attempted to make an emergency landing in stormy weather. The aircraft was carrying 16 parachutists and 2 crew members. On August 22, 2012, a Mombasa Air Safari Let L-410 UVPE-9 registration 5YUV7, with 11 passengers and 2 crew, crashed at an airstrip in the Masai Mara Game Reserve, Kenya, killing both pilots and 2 passengers. 9 passengers on board the aircraft received injuries of varying degree. The aircraft that impacted ground shortly after takeoff from Garend airstrip was destroyed. On August 23, 2014, a Doran Air Congo Let L-410, registration 9QCXB performing a flight from Bukavu to Pangi with 2 passengers, 2 crew and 1,500 kilograms of cargo, had normally departed from Bukavu's Kavumu Airport at 13:42 am and left the frequency of Kavumu about 10 minutes after departure. There was no further radio transmission and the aircraft did not arrive in Pangi, estimated to land about 1 hour after departure, nor on any airport reachable. A search for the aircraft found the aircraft crashed and burned out in the southern vicinity of Kayuzai-Biega Park on August 25, about 2 to 3 nanometers east of the village of Kalika in the neighborhood of Muling. On January 24, 2014, a Let L-410 UVPE-9 with registration number 5 hours ZAP operated by Zanga overshot the runway in Pemba Airport, Tanzania while landing after the brakes of the airplane failed. The plane skidded off the runway, onto a grassy area, and skidded into a bush. All passengers escaped the runway incident without injuries. On August 20, 2015, 2 Let L-410 of Dubnica Air collided in mid-air at an altitude of around 5,000 feet near Sevny Carmen village in Slovakia, close to the Czech border. The planes were carrying skydivers, rehearsing for a nearby air show. 31 skydivers survived by jumping out of the planes before and after the collision. 2 crew members from each plane and 3 parachutists were killed when the planes crashed in a hilly area. Specifications, data from Jane's All the World's Aircraft 1993 Euro 94, general characteristics, capacity, 19 passengers or 1,615 kilograms of cargo, length, 14.42 meters, wingspan, 19.48 m, height, 5.83 m, wing area, 34.86 mass squared, empty weight, 3,985 kilograms, max takeoff weight, 6,400 kilograms, power plant, 2A, Walter M601E turboprop engines, 559 kilowatts each, performance, maximum speed, 380 km per hour at 4,200 m, cruise speed, 365 km per hour, range, 1,380 km, service ceiling, 6,320 m, rate of climb, 7.4 meters per second. See also: aircraft of comparable role, configuration and era, or copyright Rosparty LN 262, Antonov 28, Antonov 38, Beechcraft 1900, Beery FB30, Britain Norman Islander, Britain Norman Trilander, CASAC 212 Aviocar, de Havilland Canada DHC6 Twin Otter, Dornier Do 228, Embraer AN 110 Bandiaranti, Evector EV55 Outback, Fairchild Swearingen Metroliner, Fairchild Dornier 228, GAF Nomad, British Aerospace Jetstream 31, Harbin Y12, IAI Arava, PZLM 28 Skitruck, Shorts SE7 Skivan. References: Hoyle, Craig. World Air Forces Directory. Flight International, Volume 182, Number 5370, 11 Euro December 17, 2012 pages 40 Euro 64. ISSN 0015-3710. Hoyle, Craig. World Air Forces Directory. Flight International, Volume 186, Number 5468, 9 Euro December 15, 2014 pages 24 Euro 55. ISSN 0015-3710. Lambert, Mark. Jane's All the World's Aircraft 1993 Euro 94. Coulston, UK, Jane's Data Division, 1993. ISBN 0-7106-1066-1. Picture of the Let L-410 UVPE-3 Turbolet aircraft. Airliners.net. External links, company website, L-410CZ unofficial site, history, photo gallery. Aviation Masters, Incorporated, 2.